Tasked by King Eurystheus to bring forth the lion's skin, Hercules set forth on a quest that would test his mettle like never before. Along his journey, Hercules found solace in the hospitality of Molorchus, a simple man of humble means. Moved by his host's generosity, Hercules made a solemn pact. If he returned triumphant with the lion's skin, they would offer sacrifices to Zeus, king of the gods. But if fate deemed otherwise, Molorchus vowed to honor Hercules as a hero and offer sacrifices in his name. As Hercules closed in on his quarry, he soon discovered that the lion's hide was impervious to mortal weapons. Undeterred, he grasped his club and pursued the beast into its lair, where a fierce battle ensued. With unwavering resolve, Hercules faced the lion head-on, his heart unyielding in the face of danger. Ignoring the beast's savage claws, he seized it in a vice-like grip, choking the life from its powerful frame until it lay motionless at his feet. On the 30th day since his departure, Hercules returned to Cleonae, his victory secured and his honor upheld. Together, he and Molorchus offered sacrifices to Zeus, their hearts united in gratitude and reverence. Yet, when Hercules returned to Mycenae, King Eurystheus trembled at the sight of the hero's prowess. In a desperate bid to protect himself, he barred Hercules from the city gates and devised a cunning plan to evade his wrath. From that day forth, Eurystheus refused to face Hercules directly, sending his commands through a herald and cowering in his hiding place whenever the hero drew near. But no matter how hard he tried to evade his fate, Hercules' legend only grew stronger with each passing trial. This was just the beginning of his epic journey, for greater challenges awaited him on the path to immortality. In the shadowy depths of the swamps near Lerna, a fearsome serpent known as the Lernaean Hydra lurked, its 9 heads poised to strike with deadly venom. For Hercules, this would be his second labor, a test of strength and cunning unlike any other. Accompanied by his loyal nephew Iolaus, Hercules set out to confront the Hydra and rid the countryside of its terror. Together, they journeyed to the lair of the Hydra, located near the springs of Amymone. With flaming arrows as their weapons, Hercules and Iolaus baited the Hydra from its lair, drawing it forth to face its doom. But the battle was far from easy, for the Hydra ensnared Hercules' foot with its coils, trapping him in its deadly embrace. Despite Hercules' mighty blows with his club, the Hydra's heads seemed to multiply with each strike. To make matters worse, a giant crab joined the fray, biting at Hercules' trapped foot. But the hero would not be deterred. In a stroke of brilliance, Iolaus held forth a torch to the severed necks of the Hydra, preventing the growth of replacement heads. With each head that Hercules severed, Iolaus cauterized the wound, allowing Hercules to gain the upper hand. With unwavering determination, Hercules destroyed the 8 mortal heads of the Hydra, leaving only the immortal one remaining. He buried it beneath a heavy rock, ensuring that it could never again bring terror to the land. To ensure that the Hydra's venomous legacy lived on, Hercules dipped his arrows in its blood. Yet, despite his victory, King Eurystheus refused to acknowledge the full extent of Hercules' feat. The tale of Hercules' triumph over the Lernaean Hydra endures, a testament to the power of courage and cunning in the face of insurmountable odds. In the heart of the lush forests of Greece, Hercules prepares to undertake his third labor, the capture of the elusive Hind of Cerynea. A quaint town nestled amidst the verdant hills of Greece, Cerynea lies roughly 50 miles from the palace of King Eurystheus in Mycenae. It is here that the Hind of Cerynea roams, a creature of unparalleled beauty and grace. Eurystheus commanded Hercules to bring him the hind, but this was no ordinary deer, adorned with golden horns and hooves of bronze. It was the sacred companion of Diana, goddess of the hunt and the moon. Despite the hind's elusive nature, Hercules pursued her relentlessly for an entire year, his determination matched only by the challenges that lay ahead. For he could neither harm nor kill the sacred animal, lest he incur the wrath of Diana herself. At last, weary from the chase, the hind sought refuge by the river Ladon. Sensing an opportunity, Hercules took aim and shot her just as she was about to cross the stream. With the hind captured, he set forth on his journey back to Mycenae. Yet, as Hercules hurried on his way, he was intercepted by Diana, furious at his attempt to harm her sacred companion. But Hercules, ever truthful, explained that he was bound by the oracle to complete the labors set forth by Eurystheus. Moved by Hercules' honesty and devotion to his task, Diana relented and healed the hind's wound, allowing Hercules to carry the hind alive back to Mycenae. The tale of Hercules' third labor comes to a close, a testament to the power of honesty and devotion in the face of divine wrath. For his fourth labor, Eurystheus ordered Hercules to bring him the Erymanthian boar alive. Now, capturing a boar isn't as simple as it sounds. This isn't just any pig. It's a massive, wild beast with a nasty temper and razor-sharp tusks. With tusks capable of goring even the bravest of hunters, the Erymanthian boar was a formidable opponent. But Hercules, undeterred, set off on his mission, making a stop at the cave of his friend Pholus, a centaur who lived near Mount Erymanthus. Pholus, a kind-hearted centaur, welcomed Hercules warmly. As Hercules enjoyed a meal by the fire, Pholus ate his meat raw, true to his centaur nature. When Hercules requested wine, Pholus hesitated, explaining that the wine jar was communal property among the centaurs. Ignoring Pholus's concerns, Hercules opened the jar himself. The enticing aroma of the wine quickly reached the other centaurs, who were furious that their shared wine was being consumed without their consent. The enraged centaurs stormed Pholus's cave. But Hercules was ready. He hurled burning sticks from the fireplace at them, then charged with his club, chasing the centaurs away and shooting arrows at those who fled. In the chaos, Pholus, curious about the deadly power of Hercules' arrows, accidentally dropped one, fatally wounding himself. When Hercules returned, he found his friend dead, and he buried Pholus with a heavy heart. Mourning his friend, but determined to complete his task, Hercules resumed his hunt. The boar was easy to track, its loud snorts and stomps echoing through the mountains as it foraged for food. Hercules chased the boar around the mountain, his powerful shouts echoing through the valleys. Exhausted and frightened, the boar sought refuge in a dense thicket. Hercules, relentless, drove the beast into a deep patch of snow where it became trapped. With the boar immobilized, Hercules ensnared it in a sturdy net and carried the massive creature all the way back to Mycenae. Eurystheus, once again astonished and terrified by Hercules' might, hid in his partially buried bronze jar. The king's fear of Hercules grew with each labor, but the hero's determination and strength never wavered. The capture of the Erymanthian boar showcased Hercules' relentless spirit and indomitable strength, qualities that would see him through many more trials on his path to immortality. Eurystheus devised a particularly unpleasant task. He ordered Hercules to clean the Augean stables. Now, these weren't just any stables, they belonged to King Augeas, who owned more cattle than anyone in Greece. Augeas was incredibly wealthy, with herds of cows, bulls, goats, sheep, and horses. Every night, thousands of animals were herded into the stables, which hadn't been cleaned in years. The result? An unimaginable mess. Hercules knew this job would be dirty and smelly, but sometimes even heroes have to get their hands dirty. The real challenge? Eurystheus demanded that Hercules complete the job in a single day. Hercules approached King Augeas without mentioning Eurystheus. He proposed to clean the stables in one day in exchange for a tenth of Augeas's fine cattle. Skeptical but intrigued, Augeas agreed and sent his son to watch. First, Hercules tore a large opening in the wall of the cattle yard. Then, he made another opening on the opposite side. Next, he dug wide trenches leading to two nearby rivers. Hercules turned the course of the rivers into the yard. The powerful currents rushed through the stables, flushing out all the filth and debris which flowed out through the second opening. By the end of the day, the Augean stables were spotless. When Augeas discovered that Eurystheus had orchestrated the task, he refused to pay Hercules his reward. He even denied promising it in the first place and suggested Hercules take the matter to court. In court, Hercules called upon Augeas' son to testify. The boy confirmed that his father had indeed promised the reward. The judge ruled in Hercules' favor. Enraged, the king banished both his son and Hercules from his kingdom. Augeas' son left to live with his aunts in the north, and Hercules returned to Mycenae. Despite completing the task, Eurystheus declared that this labor didn't count, as Hercules had been promised payment. Although this labor wasn't officially recognized, Hercules' cleverness and perseverance shone through. Each task, whether acknowledged or not, brought him closer to proving his unmatched heroism. Hercules faced a new and even more daunting challenge. For his sixth labor, Eurystheus tasked him with driving away an enormous flock of deadly birds from a lake near the town of Stymphalos. These were no ordinary birds. The Stymphalian birds were vicious creatures with sharp beaks and a hunger for flesh. These birds were said to be man-eaters, as fierce as lions or leopards. Their beaks could pierce armor made of bronze or iron, but a garment woven from thick cork could stop their attacks. The Stymphalian birds were of the size of cranes, resembling the ibis, but with more powerful, straight beaks. They gathered in vast numbers, terrorizing the people and wildlife near the lake. Arriving at the lake, Hercules was at a loss. How could he possibly drive away such a large and dangerous flock? The gods were watching. The goddess Athena, recognizing Hercules' plight, descended from Olympus with a gift, a pair of bronze crotala. These noise-making clappers, similar to castanets, were crafted by Hephaistos, the god of the forge, and imbued with divine power. With these magical clappers in hand, Hercules formulated a plan. He climbed a nearby mountain overlooking the lake, raised the crotala, and began to clash them loudly. The noise was deafening. The Stymphalian birds, startled by the clamor, took flight from their perches in the trees. As the birds took to the air, Hercules shot them down with his bow and arrows. His aim was true, and many of the deadly birds fell from the sky. With his relentless attack, Hercules managed to drive the remaining birds far away from Stymphalos, freeing the land from their terror. Once again, Hercules completed his labor, showcasing not only his strength, but also his ingenuity and determination. Eurystheus, amazed and fearful of Hercules' growing prowess, could only marvel at the hero's success. For his seventh labor, Hercules was tasked with capturing the Cretan bull, a beast that had caused havoc across the island of Crete. At this time, Minos, king of Crete, was a powerful ruler, controlling many of the islands around Greece. The Athenians even sent him tribute every year. Crete was rich with bull legends. Zeus, in the shape of a bull, had carried Minos' mother, Europa, to Crete. The Cretans were also fond of bull leaping, a dangerous sport where contestants grabbed the horns of a bull and were thrown over its back. Minos himself had a unique connection to bulls. To prove his right to the throne, he promised Poseidon, the sea god, that he would sacrifice whatever the gods sent him from the sea. Poseidon sent a magnificent bull, but Minos, enchanted by its beauty, decided to keep it and sacrificed another bull instead. Enraged by Minos' deceit, Poseidon cursed the bull, causing it to rampage across Crete. His curse didn't stop there. Minos' wife, Pasiphae, fell in love with the bull and gave birth to the Minotaur, a monstrous creature with the head of a bull and the body of a man. Minos was forced to confine the Minotaur in the labyrinth, a vast maze beneath the palace. Every year, he fed it prisoners from Athens, adding to his cruelty and power. When Hercules arrived in Crete, he faced the challenge head-on. With his immense strength and courage, he easily wrestled the bull to the ground. Hercules then drove the subdued beast back to King Eurystheus. Upon seeing the captured bull, Eurystheus was both amazed and terrified by Hercules' prowess. Not wanting to deal with the beast himself, he let the bull go free. The bull roamed Greece, spreading fear and destruction wherever it went. Eventually, it ended up in Marathon, a city near Athens, where it continued to be a menace. Thus, Hercules completed his 7th labor, adding another chapter to his legend. Each task brought new challenges, but with his strength and resolve, Hercules proved time and again that no obstacle was too great. For his 8th labor, King Eurystheus commanded Hercules to capture the man-eating mares of Diomedes, the fierce king of the Thracian tribe known as the Bistones. These were no ordinary horses, but vicious creatures that devoured human flesh. According to Apollodorus, Hercules didn't embark on this perilous journey alone. He sailed across the Aegean Sea with a group of brave volunteers, ready to face whatever dangers awaited them in Bistonia. Upon reaching Bistonia, Hercules and his comrades quickly overpowered the grooms tending to the savage horses. They began driving the mares towards the sea, aiming to transport them back to Mycenae. But the Bistones soon discovered the theft. Enraged, they sent a band of soldiers to retrieve their prized, deadly animals. Hercules needed to free himself for the impending battle. To focus on the fight, Hercules entrusted the mares to a young warrior named Abderos. However, the savage horses proved too much for the youth. The mares overpowered him, tragically dragging him to his death. Meanwhile, Hercules engaged in a fierce battle with the Bistones. With his incredible strength and combat prowess, he killed King Diomedes and scattered the remaining soldiers. Stricken by the loss of Abderos, Hercules decided to honor his fallen friend. He founded the city of Abdera near the site of the youth's death, ensuring that Abderos's name would be remembered. Hercules then drove the mares back to Mycenae, presenting them to King Eurystheus. The king, however, was fearful of the vicious creatures and set them free. The man-eating mares roamed the land, causing terror wherever they went. Eventually, they made their way to Mount Olympus, the home of the gods. On Mount Olympus, the mares met their end, devoured by wild beasts. Thus, Hercules completed his 8th labor, once again proving his unmatched bravery and strength. For his 9th labor, King Eurystheus commanded Hercules to bring him the belt of Hippolyte, queen of the Amazons. This was no ordinary belt and no ordinary warrior. Hippolyte was the leader of the Amazons, a fierce tribe of women warriors who lived apart from men. If they bore children, only the females were kept and trained to be warriors. The belt, a gift from Ares, the god of war, signified Hippolyte's status as the greatest among them. Eurystheus coveted this belt to give as a present to his daughter. Recognizing the impossible odds of facing the Amazon army alone, Hercules' friends joined him on the journey. They set sail in a single ship, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. After a long voyage, they reached the land of the Amazons and anchored in the harbor. Hippolyte, intrigued by the arrival of these strangers, came down to meet them, asked Hercules why he had come, and upon learning of his quest, she agreed to give him the belt willingly. However, the goddess Hera had other plans. Disguised as an Amazon warrior, Hera spread rumors that the newcomers intended to abduct their queen. The Amazons, roused by fear and anger, donned their armor and prepared for battle. As the Amazons charged towards the ship, Hercules saw their armed approach and realized he was under attack. Acting quickly, he drew his sword and, in the ensuing confusion, killed Hippolyte and took her belt. A great battle erupted. Hercules and his companions fought valiantly against the formidable Amazons. After a fierce struggle, they managed to drive the warriors back. Victorious, Hercules and his crew sailed away, making a brief stop at the city of Troy before returning to Mycenae. Hercules presented the belt to Eurystheus, fulfilling yet another labor. Despite the treachery and bloodshed, Hercules had once again proven his unmatched strength and resolve. For his 10th labor, King Eurystheus assigned Hercules an extraordinary task: to journey to the ends of the earth and bring back the cattle of the monstrous Geryon. Geryon was no ordinary foe. This monstrous being lived on the island of Erythea, near the boundary of Europe and Libya, where he kept a prized herd of red cattle. Guarding these cattle were Orthus, a vicious two-headed hound, and the herdsman Eurytion. Setting off for Erythea, Hercules reached the spot where Europe and Libya met. To mark his extensive journey, he raised 2 massive mountains, which became known as the Pillars of Hercules. The strait he created by breaking the mountain apart is now called the Strait of Gibraltar. In admiration of his quest, the sun provided Hercules with a golden goblet in which he sailed to Erythea. Upon his arrival, Orthus attacked Hercules. With a single blow of his mighty club, Hercules dispatched the two-headed hound. Eurytion, the herdsman, met the same fate. A nearby herdsman alerted Geryon. As Hercules was leading the cattle away, Geryon confronted him. A fierce battle ensued, and Hercules shot Geryon dead with his arrows. Stealing the cattle was just the beginning. The journey back to Greece was fraught with obstacles. In Liguria, 2 sons of Poseidon attempted to steal the herd, but Hercules swiftly dealt with them. Near Rhegium, a bull escaped, swam to Sicily, and was claimed by King Eryx. Hercules, in pursuit, entrusted the herd to the god Hephaestus. He found the bull in Eryx's herd. To reclaim it, Hercules had to defeat Eryx in a wrestling match. Hercules triumphed, defeating Eryx 3 times and retrieving the bull. Just as he neared the end of his journey, Hera sent a gadfly to scatter the herd. Hercules chased the cattle across Thrace, finally regrouping them. In his frustration, he filled the river Strymon with rocks, making it no longer fit to sail on. After a journey of unparalleled challenges, Hercules brought the cattle of Geryon to Eurystheus, once again proving his heroic prowess and resilience. After 8 long years and 10 superhuman labors, Hercules still had more to do. Eurystheus, unsatisfied with the hero's work on the Hydra and the Augean stables, demanded 2 more tasks. The 11th labor was to bring him the golden apples of the Hesperides. These golden apples were no ordinary fruit. They belonged to Zeus, king of the gods, given to him by Hera as a wedding gift. Guarded by a 100-headed dragon named Ladon and the Hesperides, nymphs of the evening, they were kept in a garden at the northern edge of the world. Hercules faced an almost impossible task. Hercules didn't know where the garden was, so he journeyed through Libya, Egypt, Arabia, and Asia, encountering many challenges along the way. In Libya, he was stopped by Kyknos, the son of Ares, the war god. Kyknos demanded a fight, but the battle was broken up by a thunderbolt, allowing Hercules to continue his journey. In Illyria, Hercules seized the sea god Nereus, who knew the garden's location. Nereus transformed into various shapes to escape, but Hercules held tight until he got the information he needed. Next, Hercules faced Antaeus, son of Poseidon, who grew stronger each time he touched the earth. Hercules lifted him off the ground and crushed him, winning the fight. Hercules then encountered Bucerus, another son of Poseidon. Captured and almost sacrificed, Hercules managed to escape and continue on his quest. Hercules reached Mount Caucasus, where Prometheus was bound. Every day, an eagle ate Prometheus's liver, which grew back each night, subjecting him to endless torment. Hercules killed the eagle and freed Prometheus. In gratitude, Prometheus revealed the secret to obtaining the apples. Hercules needed to enlist the help of Atlas, the Titan who held up the sky and the earth. Atlas, weary of his eternal burden, agreed to fetch the apples if Hercules would hold the sky in his place. Hercules took on the weight of the world, while Atlas retrieved the golden apples. Upon his return, Atlas offered to deliver the apples himself, leaving Hercules to hold the sky forever. But Hercules, using his wit, asked Atlas to take back the burden just for a moment so he could place some padding on his shoulders. As soon as Atlas lifted the sky, Hercules grabbed the apples and quickly ran off, successfully completing his labor. Hercules presented the golden apples to Eurystheus, but there was one final twist. The apples, being divine property, could not remain with Eurystheus. Hercules returned them to Athena, who took them back to the garden at the northern edge of the world. The most dangerous labor of all was the 12th and final one. Eurystheus ordered Hercules to go to the underworld and kidnap the beast called Cerberus. Eurystheus was sure Hercules would never succeed at this impossible task. The ancient Greeks believed that after a person died, their spirit descended to the world below, the kingdom of Hades, ruled by Hades and his wife, Persephone. All souls, whether good or bad, were destined for this dark realm. Cerberus was the vicious beast guarding the entrance to Hades, preventing the living from entering the world of the dead. Knowing this would be a journey from which no mortal had ever returned, Hercules took extra precautions. He traveled to Eleusis to see Olympus, a priest who led the Eleusinian mysteries, sacred rites that celebrated the myth of Demeter and Persephone. Initiation into these mysteries was believed to ensure happiness in the underworld. After meeting the conditions of membership, Hercules was initiated into the mysteries, gaining protection for his journey ahead. Hercules then traveled to Taenarum in Laconia. Through a deep, rocky cave, he descended into the underworld. Along the way, he encountered monsters, heroes, and ghosts, even engaging in a wrestling contest. Finally, Hercules found Hades and requested permission to take Cerberus. The Lord of the Underworld agreed, but only if Hercules could overpower the beast with his own brute strength. Near the gates of Acheron, one of the 5 rivers of the underworld, Hercules encountered Cerberus. Without hesitation, Hercules threw his strong arms around the beast, wrestling it into submission. Cerberus eventually had to submit to Hercules' force, and Hercules brought the beast to Eurystheus. Unlike other monsters that crossed Hercules' path, Cerberus was returned safely to Hades, resuming his duty as guardian of the underworld.